Well, I truly appreciate this opportunity to share a little bit about Second Harvest with you, who we serve and how we serve them. And I appreciate being in front of this group and what High Tech Happy Hour is doing for us. We have a milestone this year, 25 years of serving southwestern Wisconsin. It's not a celebration for us because, unfortunately, we're still needed in this community. Second Harvest is a food bank. We're one of 200 food banks that cover every county and every state in this country. If you add up the efforts that they did last year, they distributed 3 billion pounds of food to people in need, and they did that through 60,000 agencies. In the state of Wisconsin, there are 5 food banks that cover the state. We're in the southwest corner, one in Milwaukee, and the remaining western and northwestern territory is covered by food banks based in Minnesota. And every single day, Second Harvest has 80,000 pounds of food that come and go from our facility. And the food that goes is destined to agencies like food pantries, soup kitchens, homeless shelters, and where we have need of coverage, we also serve people right off a truck. So that's our distribution. Every 4 years, there's a hunger study done across this country, a very extensively researched, elaborately done, and the results are presented to us on a national basis, a statewide basis, and by Food Bank. And what it says is where we were 4 years ago and what's changed in those 4 years. What we saw is an 83% increase in need. And also there's a lot of myths about the people we have to serve. Some of those myths are above. One of those myths is the people that we serve are uneducated. And that's not true at all. If you took a slice of life of any neighborhood, you'd find that the people that we serve are pretty much the same. 3 out of 4 have a high school diploma. About 1 in 10 have got a college degree. They're not uneducated. Another myth that we hear is that most of the people we serve are adults, and that is true. But the fastest growing group that we are serving is children. Children were more than double where they were 4 years prior. And 4 years, we more than doubled of an 83% increase. But we serve them with special programs, things called kids cafes, and also mobile pantries and backpack programs. A kids cafe, we have 8 of them across Stein County. And a kids cafe is where kids can stop after school. They're served a warm, nutritious meal before they go home. A backpack program is kids that are identified at risk are served with a backpack that is filled with food that they can take home at weekend because they probably have nothing to eat at home that weekend. Many people are surprised to learn that many of the people we serve have jobs, but we call them the working poor. At one time in their life, they had 2 incomes in their family. Now they have 1. And they're trying to figure out how to take that one payroll and stretch it as far as they could. And when they get to the final week of the month, they're faced with some really tough choices. Do I use that money to buy food, or do I pay for my utilities? Do I use that money for food, or do I pay my rent? Or see the doctor for what ails me, or fill a prescription? These are basic needs, not a big screen TV or a fancy vacation or new car. These are basic needs, and these are the choices these people have to make every single month. And there's a myth also that people feel there's not enough food, and that's the reason there is hunger in our country. But the federal government says that as much as 90 billion pounds exist out there that rots on the vine, plowed back in the earth, or for a business reason is thrown back into the landfill, and some of those reasons are there. And that's 40% of the food that's manufactured in this country. What kind of food is it? Well, you can see up on the slide that it's good, nutritious food, perhaps 70 billion pounds of fruits, vegetables, poultry, meat, dairy. And these are good things that end up not being served but are available to those that struggle with hunger. Oftentimes, food comes to us and it's donated, and before it can get out to and be distributed, we have to do something with it. Here's a picture of many cartons of loose apples. We received over 100,000 pounds in one setting, but they're all loose, and what do we do with it? Well, we depend highly on our volunteers. And in this case, the volunteers are putting them in 5-pound bags to serve people in need. Sometimes food comes to us that's thrown out for a business reason. On the left, you see a picture of Michael Phelps on a Kellogg's cornflakes. He was their spokesperson until he was caught in a less than compromising position. They ordered everything with his likeness off the shelves. The same thing happened with Gatorade and Tiger Woods. And everything that was found with his picture on it, they wanted no longer there. On the previous slide, you saw a picture of a pallet of bright canned vegetables. A couple of them are dented. It's cheaper for them to throw the whole pallet away than to donate it. So businesses are making decisions what to do with good, healthy food and making those decisions and throwing them out. The next picture is, we do a lot of fresh rescue with grocery stores. It's a 2,300-pound round of cheese. And like any cheese, as a display, it wasn't very attractive once it started to mold. So instead of throwing it out, they called us and said, would you take it? We carved up about 100 pounds of the mold off that cheese and took the other 2,200 pounds and cut it into 1-pound blocks and served 2,200 people. And to do all this work, it requires volunteers, not only for us, but the distribution of where we send that food. Food pantries, soup kitchens, and homeless shelters depends so much on volunteers as we do. In fact, 2 out of every 3 food pantries have no paid staff, totally reliant on volunteers. Sometimes food comes to us as donated. Sometimes, since it's not donated and we want to provide staples, we have to go out and buy it. But to pay retail would be too expensive. So we buy it in bulk. And I'm standing next to a 7-foot-tall bag of cereal, first-run cereal. But what do you do with 700 pounds in a 7-foot-tall bag? Again, you rely on your volunteers. And the volunteers take that and put it into 2-pound bags. And people get the exact same product they get in a grocery store, but it's not in a pretty package. But the reason we provide it that way, and we do it with rice, pasta, pinto beans, and cereal, is because it costs us 25 cents on the dollar. So it's a great deal. So volunteers are really our lifeblood. So in summary, like any cause, the more that you become educated about it and aware of the issue, make a commitment to do something, great things can happen. And when it comes to ending hunger, we have the money in this country to end it. We have the food in this country to end it. What we need is the moral fiber of all of us to get behind this and want to end it, and we can put hunger to rest. Thank you very much for your time.